A congressional investigation into big tech companies officially got underway today. The House held its first hearing, which focused on the effect some of those tech giants have on journalism and news organizations. Natalie Brand has our report from Capitol Hill.
House lawmakers turned their attention to some of the nation's tech giants Tuesday, examining how those companies have changed the news media landscape.
Facebook and Google compete against news publishers for user attention, data, and ad dollars. They are controlling the game and playing it too.
On Monday, the News Media Alliance, which represents around 2,000 news publishers across the country, released a report estimating Google made $4.7 billion from news content in 2018 and didn't pay publishers.
No publisher on its own can stand up to the tech giants. The risk of demotion or exclusion from the platforms is simply too great.
In a statement, Net Choice, an e-commerce trade group representing companies including Google, slammed the hearing, saying in part, rather than trying to protect consumers, politicians are looking to punish online platforms that don't serve their political interests.
The bipartisan investigation by the Judiciary Committee is expected to include a series of hearings to examine whether America's leading tech companies are stifling competition and if existing antitrust laws should be changed.
It is clear that we must do something in the short term to save trustworthy journalism before it's lost forever.
Proposals to break up big companies just because they are big risk throwing out the baby with the bathwater.
On Monday, Reddit co-founder and venture capitalist Alexis Ohanian told CBS News discussions about new technology should have started years ago.
I think we have waited too long to try to really understand a lot of technology that is core to our society.
CBS News has learned the Justice Department and the Federal Trade Commission are in the early stages of launching their own investigations into Apple, Google, Facebook, and Amazon. Natalie Brand, CBS News, Capitol Hill.
Connie Guglielmo is the CNET editor-in-chief, and she joins us now from San Francisco. So, Connie, what challenges do media companies face in trying to demand better terms from big tech companies?
Well, it's a very complicated question because the tech companies themselves don't consider themselves media companies, right? They consider themselves platforms, distribution engines. The media companies argue, some of them, that the gateway to reaching users is controlled by people, and that is the big tech companies, who are not really very transparent about the best ways to cooperate with them. Nonetheless, all the influence is on their side. We know that Facebook, Google, Twitter are among the top ways that people get their news today. So it is a very tricky dance. And what you're seeing today with this hearing, which is the start of a lot of discussions about tech companies, is just how powerful and influential these tech companies are and the very real effect they're having on our lives, not just in how we use technology, but how it sways public opinion and we get our news.
And can you elaborate on that? I mean, just explain for us how much leverage and power these tech companies have over content creators.
Well, again, think about Google, for instance, or Facebook, as distribution networks. You put your content up on those networks and it gets distributed to users. Therefore, it's put in front of the user's eyeballs, if you will. That's the advertising terms. How can we get in front of people's eyeballs? Google has a product called Google News, and there's an algorithm that it uses to decide what content is put there on the Google News page, and it breaks it down by category: politics, culture, entertainment, sports, tech. How do you get on the Google News page? Well, there's an algorithm that does that, and Google keeps it very quiet how that algorithm works. So it's up to you as a newsmaker to decide and to figure out how to game that algorithm or feed that algorithm so that your content is being shown. So that is one issue. The same thing happens on Facebook. They reward certain kinds of content and that you see, come to your news feed more often. Google also has YouTube. YouTube has become a very important way for people to get more news. That's all about video content. If you start searching for a particular kind of video content on YouTube, for instance, animal rescues, puppies being saved, that's something I look at. Within a very short amount of time, you'll go to your homepage and all of your videos will be about puppies being rescued. So it filters the news and gives you a view of the world based on your interests. And this is what we talk about where the the platforms can kind of limit the world that you see based on your interests. They are trying to personalize that information for you, but what they're doing actually is filtering it because they're advertising based. So the more targeted the ad that they can deliver to you, to deliver content that you are more interested in based on your likes and your dislikes or your personality profile, depending on how they get that data about you, the more valuable that ad is to them, the more money they can make. So you have an industry, the news media industry, which is trying to figure out how to survive in an age where we don't have subscriptions to newspapers as the main engine necessarily for gaining profits. We used to have classified ads, right? And now you have places like Craigslist, which is a technology platform that kind of disintermediated classified ads as a way to make money for media brands. And they see some of these tech giants as gateways and limiting how they can get their news out, paying for access to their readers or those eyeballs. And how does that formula all work out when we're trying to get content out there that people think is more valuable, some content more valuable than others? How do you do it in an unbiased way so that you don't end up just with puppy videos or pick your category of content? And so that's why it's a messy, complicated problem, and it comes at the time when a lot of people are very skeptical about tech companies' influence and power.
It's complicated, but those are fundamental questions that you just outlined there. It's an important thing to continue to watch. Connie Guglielmo, Connie, thank you very much.
My pleasure.